Greetings, YouTubers and gamers alike. Red Crimson Gaming here. So we have a solid pre-order date locked down for the Nintendo Switch 2, which is April 24th on a Thursday by the major retailers in GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, and Target. GameStop will be taking pre-orders at 11 a.m. and also will be doing pre-orders on walk-ins. Now, Target and Walmart should be taking pre-orders at 12 a.m. So you guys already know what to do. If you want to secure a Nintendo Switch 2, go to any one of your favorite major retailers' website. Have your credit card information ready, so as soon as a pre-order become available, you just click add a cart and you should be good. I myself haven't figured out where I want to do my pre-order, but I guess whichever major retailer I can secure a pre-order at, I should be fine. I just go to any one of them. I just get in where I fit in. It doesn't really matter. And also remember, guys, if you're gonna go to GameStop to trade in your Nintendo Switch, the Switch Lite, you're gonna get $100. The V2 model Switch as well as the launch model Switch, I believe, is $125, and the Switch OLED is $175. And if you are GameStop Pro member, you get an extra 10%. So just keep that in mind. But your boy is not trading in any of his Nintendo Switches. Those are my trophy pieces. Those things was gonna stay in the shelf, stay in the box, and it is what it is. So I'm moving along here. I keep on hearing that people complaining that a Nintendo Switch and the games are expensive. And honestly, guys, when I think about it, the prices of the games are expensive, but video games are a very expensive hobby. I've seen people buy $1,300 iPhones. I see people buy $250 plus collector's editions. Hell, I was in GameStop and I seen somebody bought Assassin's Creed Shadows collector's edition. And it's funny how people like to complain, but when the PlayStation 5 Pro launched at $700, nobody complained. When the PS5 launched and the scalpers were selling for $800 to $1,000, nobody complained. But the people that are complaining are just the haters. It's just the fear of Nintendo, that Nintendo Switch 2 takeover, because the OG Nintendo Switch demolished the competition and Nintendo's giving people what they want. So people were complaining about the less than 30 FPS frame drops, the blurry graphics, and heavy hitters like AAA games like Elden Ring, COD, and Cyberpunk wasn't on the system. People were acting like those games define the Switch, but the Switch actually outsold the competition at 150 plus million without those games, further proving that the Nintendo Switch is the best console of this generation, or should I say last generation. People are afraid of the Nintendo Switch 2 takeover. Nintendo has given fans what they want: better frame rates, better graphics, and whatnot. So I don't see why people want to complain. Now, I do admit that the games can be expensive, but when the next Xbox, the next PlayStation comes out, I mean, no telling how much those things are going to cost. I'm pretty sure those things are going to be just as expensive, and everybody's going to be selling $80 games as well. I mean, video game production, and on top of that, inflation has gone up, so I expect video game prices to go up every generation. It is what it is. I think you guys should vote with your wallets. If you feel as if the Switch is too expensive and its games, don't buy it. Just buy another system or continue playing what you've been playing. Honestly, the Switch 2 price for the console has been justified. I mean, for what Nintendo put in this system, easily could warrant a $700 to $800 system, but they're giving it to us for $450. So I think the console price is justified. Now, as far as that Mario Kart costing $80, Nintendo just feels as if their games is worth it. And to be honest with you, their games are worth every penny. They're evergreen titles. They can be played for generations, and they hold their weight and they value pretty well. But honestly, I do think Nintendo is kind of, price gouge, and $80 is pretty steep. And I think they're just charging $80 just to offset the price of the Nintendo Switch 2, because they're selling this console at a loss and they have to make their money back some way, somehow. And that's why Mario Kart 8, excuse me guys, Mario Kart World is at the forefront, at the helm for the Nintendo Switch 2, because Nintendo knows people love Mario Kart. I mean, the game sold 70 million. So Nintendo is putting an extra $10 on there. They're trying to get that money, man. They're trying to get that money. I think it's wrong. It is messed up. It should have been easily a $60, $70 game, but it is what it is. I mean, vote with your wallets, guys, or get the $500 Nintendo Switch 2 bundle, which is cheaper. They're slashing, I believe, $30 off of the original Mario Kart standalone price if you buy that $500 bundle. Yeah, it is messed up that they're doing that, but it is what it is. If you don't like it, just don't buy it. Vote with your wallets, but don't go online and bash Nintendo and say, oh, it's too expensive, when you guys are buying like $250 collector's edition and spending $100 a week on Fortnite and stuff like that. So I'm somewhere in between that. Yeah, it is expensive, man, but only thing we could do is either buy it or don't buy it, and just don't complain about it. So moving along here, will the Switch 2 be as successful as the OG Nintendo Switch? I actually think that it will be. I mean, Nintendo's giving fans what they want: 120 FPS, HDR, variable refresh rate, a nice big 8-inch screen, and more power under the hood. The amount of power that's under the hood can play any AAA game. Developers missed the boat on the OG Switch. They saw the Nintendo Switch take over, 150 plus million, crushing competition, bearing competition, and they won in. Every single developer won in on the Switch 2 for missing the boat the first time around. And I hear people saying that Nintendo is losing their identity. Nah, Nintendo is still the same old Nintendo. The only difference is all the developers are coming right back home. Remember, all the developers you see right now, they started on the OG NES and Super Nintendo, so they're just coming back home. Nintendo is cornering the market. If you watch a Nintendo Direct, I don't know where people is coming up with this narrative that Nintendo is losing their identity, but I think people are just saying that because they hate, they're afraid of a Nintendo Switch 2 takeover. Nintendo is cornering the market because they're going to have games for everyone: kids, teenagers, adults, mature titles, grandmas, whatever. And Nintendo wants the Switch 2 to be your only platform. They don't want you to go to PlayStation, go to Xbox, go to PC, where you can play all those games on the one system, which is brilliant. And the funny thing about it is, guys, it's almost like looking into a crystal ball, or more so a dream, because my dream was, I always said to myself, I just want Nintendo to go back to how they were when they were aggressive, when they had exclusive games. They went to all these third-party developers and made exclusive deals to only make games for their system. Basically, jump back in the power game and show the world and show the competition that, yo, we are the king of video games and nobody can never dethrone us. We are video games. And in 2025, that dream came through. Nintendo is back to how they were in the 90s. Cutthroat. Either you're with us or you're not with us. And I definitely think the Switch 2 will be way more successful than the OG Switch. There's no way Nintendo could fail because they're gonna have all these third-party games under their belt. I think everybody else, like Sony and all these other competition out there, they're just sweating in their boots and they're afraid of this Nintendo Switch 2 takeover. That's why they have all these Switch 2 hate videos. It's too expensive and they're losing their identity, which is totally nonsense. Their identity is intact. They got this. They finally patched up their relationship with third-party developers, and they want a Nintendo Switch 2 to be your one-stop shop for all things gaming. So I think they're doing the right thing and they're on the right track. But I do think that Welcome to the Nintendo Switch game, or whatever it's called, should have been a packed-in game. But I'm not going to talk about that because you guys already know what's up when it comes to that. Moving along here. So are PC handhelds a threat to the Nintendo Switch 2? No. Actually, it's the other way around. Steam Deck, ROG Ally, Legion Go, any other PC handheld you can name got crushed underneath Nintendo's booth. And I don't know why people are acting like they don't know why. Why are you all scratching your heads wondering, yo, how come these more powerful PC handhelds can't beat the Nintendo Switch? It's pretty simple. First of all, Nintendo's first party games, they created their own lane that they wanted to actually steal and use against them, and that's not going to work. And the one thing I love about Nintendo consoles, they design their games around their consoles, because every Nintendo game has its own unique feel and identity that's tailor-made to the platform it was made on. If you try to take a Nintendo game and put it on another platform, it just won't have that same feel and Nintendo feel. And that's the difference between the competition. Like Xbox games and PlayStation games could be played on any system and it'll feel the same. But try putting a Nintendo game on the competition console, it just does not have that same magic feel whatsoever. And it is what it is. Excuse me guys, it is what it is. The Nintendo name, the brand is strong and you cannot topple it. Now, I finally want to end this video by talking about Digital Foundry. I have nothing against Digital Foundry. I actually like Digital Foundry, Rich and the whole Digital Foundry cast. I'll watch it for the fun of it, just to see, hear their take on games. But Digital Foundry is not the end all be all. They just sound real smart, real intellectual when they talk about stuff, but at the end of the day, they really don't know that much. I have to give a shout out to Super Metal Dave, because Super Metal Dave actually put them on blast, and he said something real factual. He said something that made a lot of sense on one of his videos that I watched today. He said that Digital Foundry basically tried to judge the Switch games off of the videos that they showed in the direct. You can't do that. Actually judging the game just off a video on YouTube is different from actually having the console in your hands and playing a game, knowing what's inside of the console, knowing the chips and what the system is capable of. You can't determine that by watching a video. And I was really laughing at Digital Foundry when, right before the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, when they downclocked their PCs to match the so-called Switch 2 specs. Mind you, they didn't even have the system in hand, and they were saying, oh, it won't be capable of 4K, it won't be able to do 60 FPS, and look at it now. The Switch 2 is 4K, and it could do 120 FPS, and it surpasses the PS4 and PS4 Pro in power. Those systems came out in 2013. The Nintendo Switch 2 is a more modern system using more modern advanced tech, and that's why the games, when they did the, not Digital Foundry, but when they did the comparison videos, the games were looking even better than the Series S. And I'm not surprised. Nintendo is working with NVIDIA. They're using DLSS, and not to mention Nintendo has their own graphical upscaling technique that's doing all the magic underneath the hood. So Digital Foundry was all the way wrong. To me, they lost their credibility, and it will take a long, I don't know, it'll take something extravagant, something crazy for them to even reclaim their dignity. To be honest with you, man, they fell out of favor with me. I mean, spreading false information, and they're still making videos, making themselves look more foolish. I don't understand why they just can't wait until they have the system in hand and dissect it, and to just go from there instead of just second guessing. You can't guess the specs and guess what the system is capable of off of watching a video. That doesn't make any sense. A compressed video that's on YouTube. But they lost a lot of respect from me, and a lot of respect from their viewers, honestly, by spreading false information. But yeah, like I said, I have no issues with Digital Foundry though, but they need to get it together and stop talking about that damn Switch until they have it in hand. Anyway, guys, if you're new to my channel, you already know what to do. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next video.